he's somebody who's completely turned to God, to love, and Maharaj-ji blessed him that he would always remain like a child. So his life is very simple. There's love or there's no love. You know, he's been especially a blessing for the Westerners. I mean, he spent his whole life with Maharaj. He grew up in his lap. You know, Maharaj was like his grandfather, and he has an unusual relationship in the sense that there's no separation. There's no distance between them. I mean, there's respect, of course, but just like a child has respect for their grandparent, but there's total spontaneity and total at easeness, and he feels totally accepted by Maharaj-ji. There's no shame, guilt, fear. There's no. He's completely, in that love, and yet he retains his personality, which is so delightful. He's always loved the saints, and he's always honored the saints, and he's always been exposed to the saints. His father was the one who opened Badrinath every year. He had the key, the key to Badrinath. And his home has always been the home of saints. Hariya Khan Baba used to stay there. Many saints have been there and stayed at the kuti just outside of town in the orchard. He's unspoiled, and his devotion is very, not only sincere, but intense and powerful. And he's just immersed himself in saints and in the Dharma his whole life. His whole life he collected stories from all the old devotees about Sombari Baba, about Deva Baba, about the old Babas, the previous generation Babas, the ones who were kind of born in the 1800s and overlapped into the early 1900s. And then they had devotees who lived, into their 1950s and 60s. And KK, his whole life was talking to them. And then he'd go home and he'd write down all the stories. And he was also very particular in making sure that everything was correct and there was no personal interpolations of things or interpretations of things. He kept the stories that he collected and first-hand accounts, not second-hand accounts, only first-hand accounts. This is what I saw. That's what he's got. And he just, the way we watch television, he lives with the saints. I mean, all night long, all day long, he's in that space with the holy books and the stories and the prayers, and it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. We spend many hours sitting at KK's, drinking, having white bread toast and tea, and listening to him sing and talk about the saints. Quite extraordinary. He's a blessing.